Hello, YouTube Nation. This is Tony Sheree, and I watched a couple of videos on YouTube from a band called The Warning, and it kind of made me think while I was watching them that how they handle these situations really kind of sets the tone of the quality of these people. Uh, I love this band called The Warning. I kind of fell in love with them for the last 4 years. Started following their career and actually got pretty involved in their music and their live stage show. So the videos that I've actually had watched were airs that they performed while they were actually on stage. And one's called the Airs of the Era Tour. I watched that one about all the different musical instrument airs that actually happened to the band while they were on stage. And another one was actually a compilation of all the errors or mistakes that happened to them while they were on stage for the 2025 tour, for the Keep Me Fed tour, which was the one I saw in Chicago. And one thing that kind of struck me kind of really cool about these is most of them happen in regards to their guitar player, Daniela Villarreal Velez. Everybody calls her Danny for short, but I just call her Daniela because it's a beautiful name. Uh, and what struck me about the way the way she handles all these freaking things that come up technical that just are kind of out of her control, like like not having the right guitar, things being not right, is the poise she has. If you remember back in the day, you used to have bands like Guns N' Roses and other bands. Well, if something wasn't right with their tunings or their instruments or something was wrong with their sound, or they just get pissed off and they just throw the mic down and they just freaking leave the stage. They never come back. Some would say, yes, I had enough, we're off. So they all leave. Well, these girls take it to the next level and say, we're not going to throw a tender tantrum. We're going to find a little bit of humor in this and a little bit of poise, and eventually things will work out. And we got to do the set we want. And, the fans actually get to be the biggest benefactor of this behavior because it shows how you're supposed to act in front of your fans. These people come to pay you to see you play live, and a lot of these people that are going to a lot of warning shows are young girls and young boys, and their behavior teaches these young gentlemen and these young ladies that go to their show how to react if things don't go your way. You could blow a gasket and just get all totally nuclear, or you could just roll with it and have fun with it and just accept it. And that's what these girls do. They put out that example of how you're supposed to actually act in front of your fans. And, it may not be the biggest reason that I love this band so much, but it's just a little bitty weird little thing that I just happen to grab on, how they actually react to when things don't go right. So I just thought I think it's quite beautiful to actually see how they, handle these situations. I'm like, it kind of teaches you that, yeah, things don't go right, but go ahead and deal with it and kind of, you know, like dogs do. They just scratch some dirt on that poop and just move on. So I just wanted to share that with everybody, just kind of let you know what I thought about this band called The Warning, and how they handle things like that. And how I wish kind of everybody else in rock and roll would kind of develop their attitude, and maybe, you'd have some better characters in rock and roll because of it. So that's all I really wanted to say about that, and I thank you for watching.